taking a team from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere across different time zones and over 20 hours of flying has a massive effect on the body and the mind. We'll put a number of protocols in place to try and help reduce the impact on that, but the main thing is cognitive drive, motivation, those kind of things, decision making. Once we arrive for the first 2 days after, they're the things that we really need to try and get quality sleep for the guys, so that when we are training, we are focusing on what we're trying to do, the guys are alert and ready to train, but ready to think about what Sean's going to ask them to do in the video meetings and all that kind of stuff. So it's more the cognitive processing that's an issue, as opposed to some of the physical things, because we can keep them hydrated, we can try and help them with sleep, but it's that cognitive element that tends to be the difference. Having a sleep routine is really, really important for a professional athlete. The flight, as we've already mentioned, is something difficult to overcome, which Celia are obviously helping us with, but it's also, once they get there, getting into good sleep habits and getting into a routine as quickly as possible, and we'll use all sorts of research and supplementation to try and help that, and telling them and sort of giving them recommendations on when to be awake, when to sleep, using dark and light to control that as well. So it's really important that we get into Sydney time as quick as possible, and we're sort of optimally firing cognitively but also physically as soon as possible, because not only do we want to perform at the weekend, we want to perform in our training sessions, and then conversely, when we come back from Australia, we need to be hitting the ground running on a Tuesday after landing on a Monday and getting ready for a massive game against Warrington. We employ a lot of tactics on the flight to try and help the players achieve that quality sleep we spoke about, and also help with that jet lag once we get to Australia, and that involves some of the sports science team telling the players when to sleep, when to be awake at certain times of the flight. It involves some stretching, it involves wearing compression garments at certain times. It also involves using things like Cherry Active, which have melatonin in and antioxidants, and which helps them regulate their sleep. We also will have the input from Sealy to help us with that as well, but it's a combination of staffing, so the staff won't get much sleep, in regulating timings, a little bit of nutrition, hydrating at the right times, but trying to create the right environment for the guys to sleep. So certain times of maybe watching a movie, then other times where we won't want them using any devices in order to try and get some quality sleep. Yeah, there's some players I'll probably struggle to wake up. There are some guys who are good sleepers, so they'll be the guys I'm one of them, so I might not wake up. Sean's probably one of those as well, but hopefully everybody can get a good 6 to 8 hours, and when we get to Sydney, you know, we can do the right things once we're there as well, with light and dark and nutrition, and we can get a good training session in that afternoon. The specific elements of the prototype that will help the players with their sleep hygiene is some of the materials that are very breathable and help regulate temperature. The back support will be extremely useful, because we do have a lot of players who, if in certain positions for a long period of time, will tighten up through the back area, the lumbar spine, and also the static that Holly spoke about before, again all aiding to sort of that sleep hygiene, but it's very comfortable, which is also very, very important. It's not too bulky and restricting, so hopefully it'll be a great addition. To be honest, the player that, or the staff member or player that will be the first to fall asleep will definitely be me, because I can fall asleep on a clothesline. All the staff members are probably will struggle to fall asleep. Sean Wayne might fall asleep as well. In terms of the players, I think Dan Sargentson will definitely struggle to fall asleep, and Liam Marshall, if they do, they'll probably still be both talking in their sleep. So hopefully I'm not sat anywhere near them. Sleepy players, we probably don't have many of those, so it could be an issue. So we'll really put these sort of Sealy interventions under a real test and stress, and we'll see if we have the desired effect, and we'll certainly feed back to Brian and Holly and see if it's been a success or not.